Had she followed her party script and argued that black people in major cities struggle to acquire government IDs, we would be calling it Kamala's Kinko's comment. KKK, you like that alliteration? She gave the best possible answer given the current Democratic Party playbook, which is nothing more than a derivative of the KKK's philosophy. The current ideology of the left is that America houses a vast number of people, black, white, and brown, incapable of taking care of basic responsibilities because of systemic oppression. All standards of responsibility must be lowered so that these helpless people can survive in a system that exploits them. That pretty much summarizes the platform of the left. Empathy justifies the ideology. Pity fuels the reaction. Unfortunately, the absence of both faith in a higher power and belief in the equality of man transforms empathy and pity into a lethal mixture of ignorance, bigotry, and elitism. Religious conservatives do not lack empathy or pity. Their faith, combined with their belief in the equality of mankind, causes them to pursue a teach a man to fish approach to inequality. I'm a religious conservative, not a political one. I've never voted. Throughout my life, empathy and pity have driven me to reach back and provide opportunities for family members, friends, and young people from more difficult circumstances than my own. I've never lowered standards for anyone I've helped. If they're unwilling to meet my standards, I move on and help those willing to step up. If they choose to seek excuses or wallow in victim mentality, I move on and help those willing to step up. I could rattle off countless stories and examples. I'll mention one. Years ago, a Ball State football player, Dante Love, broke his neck during a football game against Indiana University. I was at the game. I'm a Ball State football alumnus. I went to the hospital that night to check on Dante. He was a high-level NFL prospect. His football career ended that night tragically. He came from a very difficult background. People were depending on him making it to the NFL. I promised him that night, when he thought he might never walk again, that I would help him transition to a new life without football. Dante regained use of his lower extremities. He graduated from Ball State. Over the next couple of years, he had a difficult time adjusting to civilian life as a non-pampered potential pro athlete. He felt sorry for himself, thought the world owed him something. He was irresponsible. Frustrated, I called my good friend Isaiah Thomas, the NBA legend, for advice. Isaiah came from a background as difficult as Dante's. Isaiah advised me to remove my support of Dante. I called Dante and had him drive to my apartment. I had him remove his few belongings from the car I had loaned him. I parked the car in my extra parking spot and I left Dante to fend for himself. I didn't care how or if he made it back to his apartment. I didn't speak to Dante for many months. The next time I talked to him, he was a changed man. He's been a changed man ever since. He calls the day I left him standing in the streets a blessing from God. Over the past decade, Dante Love has become one of the best human beings I know. He's a terrific father to his 9-year-old son, Dante Jr. He's a self-taught biblical scholar who schools me. He's built a successful career at Aerotech. I consider Dante my adopted son. He learned to fish. I could write a book on all the obstacles Dante has overcome. My brief telling of his story does not remotely do his life justice. It's insulting when I hear elite politicians argue that poor people or rural people can't do this or that. You mean David slayed Goliath? Dante slayed innumerable hardships? But I'm supposed to believe poor black and white people can't secure government IDs? Are you kidding me?